Hi, how are you? I hope you're well. Welcome again to one of my little guidance sessions. I certainly hadn't intended to come on so soon after doing the previous one just a couple of days ago. But what keeps coming up is some information about celebrating women. So, following on from International Women's Day yesterday, it was the 7th of March, today's the 8th, and I did do a little post with a nod to Sedna, the goddess of the oceans and all the marine mammals. And there was an interesting story for Sedna. She's also one of the outer planets, apparently, that we're now becoming more aware of. But the mythology behind Sedna was that she had upset her father. And there's a couple of different stories. It was about who he wanted her to marry, I think. And Sedna wasn't having it. And he took her out and threw her into the depths of the ocean. But when Sedna was trying to get back into the boat, she's like clambering onto the boat to get back in, asking her dad, obviously, to have mercy on her for not marrying who he wanted. Then he chopped all her fingers off, so obviously she fell into the water. So what a horrendous story. But such are myths and fables, aren't they? But apparently the main part of the story is that she created or she birthed all the marine mammals, particularly the whales, the seals. I don't know what else you put in that category. She birthed and created all of those and gifted all those to the earth, representing then abundance and the fact that we will always be taken care of. And a little bit of determination goes a long way. So I thought that was it. Did my little bit for International Women's Day, celebrating women. But in the back of my mind, I kept going, there's something else, maybe a little bit more to the story or whatever. So as I do, I went in and pulled a couple of cards. That's one of the nice ways I find to get some guidance. But I was really surprised with what came up. So getting straight into the cards. So the first card is not Doreen Virtue, it's Carolyn Myss. So Carolyn Myss has written books about the archetypes. She's got lots of archetypes. This one is the exorcist, but it's also known as the shaman because the exorcist kind of made me, oh, what is that all about? Exorcism, not very nice. Evil, devil, all that sort of stuff. But of course, the exorcist or the shaman is, and I think we talked about shaman when I was doing the previous video, is about the person who does the healing. And they do the clearing, the cleansing, the purifying. And that was part of the words related to this card. So it is the shaman. The light attribute is freeing yourself and others of destructive impulses. So facing up to and helping yourself and helping others to get rid of bad habits, basically, So let's get rid of our demons. That's a good way to put it. So we need to look at our own demons or our own bad habits, our own negative thinking, and help to purify those and clear them, cleanse them, remove them, and lift into a higher vibration. The shadow side, because all the archetypes always have two sides to them, the shadow side is when you have a fear of facing your own demons. So if we're looking at both of those, that means as women, or if we celebrate women, are we looking at doing our job of freeing ourselves from our bad habits and our destructive behaviors, or self-destructive behaviors? So I had a little think about, the key roles, if you like, for women, or the feminine archetype, and how we celebrate that. So a big part of that, of course, as being women, is mothering. Now, that doesn't mean you have to have children. There's lots of women who don't have children and who choose not to have children. But you have nieces and nephews and grandchildren. You have people at work, people around you, people in your community. These are all people that you can... Mother sounds a little bit over the top, but if we use the word nurturing, supporting, caring, having compassion for those people, being a supportive, nurturing co-worker, and The other word that came up, I was going to go in a different way, was protecting. Now, protecting is normally in the realm of the divine masculine. So the divine masculine is there. Part of the role is to protect the divine feminine because it's much more active. It's protecting and it's a survival function. But now, so let me be very clear here. When I talk about the divine masculine, the divine feminine, I'm talking about the yin and the yang energy. So we all have yin and yang energy. And I think we need to be more aware of those and bring both of these characteristics and behaviors together. So if we look at bringing in our divine masculine to support our divine feminine, then we maybe do need to step up into more of a protecting mode. Because I have to say, and I think it's worth noting here, and a part of it was coming up with this, the fact that this came out as The Exorcist, that we do have to call out wrongdoings where we see it. And we do have to protect our colleagues, our friends, our family, and our children in particular. We all have a role in protecting our children. So protecting our children from what's going on in social media. There's a lot of that going on at the moment. Protecting them from influence that causes them anxiety. And helping them to build their resilience and confidence. That is our role as women and as divine feminine, balanced with the divine masculine beings. And we should never shy away from that. So the divine feminine is very much about the inner world. So it's looking after ourselves, nurturing and supporting and healing and caring for ourselves. I'm very strong on that. And then that also is extended to the family and to our community. That is all part of the role of the divine feminine. And the outer world, so the world right out there, that is part of the divine masculine. So we have to bring that, as I said, that masculine and feminine together to go to work on calling out wrongdoing that could harm our children and ourselves and our colleagues and our family out in the world. So two things there. What are the habits that you're doing that might be self-destructive, and what do we need to call out in terms of wrongdoing that we see in the community so that we support one another? Now, another word that came up here was, well, the next word that came up, so that's the first card, the shaman, purifying, cleansing, clearing, letting go of negative behavior. The next one was from a new set of cards I've got, but this is the Queen of Swords. This is one of the tarot decks. So the Queen of Swords, I had to look up, is a mature woman. She's very experienced with all her life experiences. She's intelligent. She's also compassionate and intuitive. So she has a good connection between the head and the heart. But this particular tarot came up, and the words that came up with this card and this deck was to do with ambition. And that was seen to be in the negative. So what that says to me is, in a negative sense, if we have, because the negative is often too much. So if we have too much ambition, and I had to play around with the word ambition, and I finally got to the other word that tested up was greed. And in the Pillar Code, I'm always going back to the Pillar Code, it's so insightful, but the Pillar Code taught me certainly, and teaches, that one of the dysfunctional characteristics of Pillar 7 is when we have too much greed. And so that can be greed of ourselves. So that to me struck a really strong chord. So that says, I'm too greedy of myself. I constantly want more from me. So that is directly related to all of the feelings of not being good enough. So how many of us have that negative, destructive pattern of feeling that we're not good enough, or that we haven't done enough, or that we don't have enough? Enough, enough, enough. We have to realize that we are enough, that we do enough. In fact, in most cases, we do way too much, right? That's the excessive yang energy that we have all grown up in, that we have all been socialized into. So if we look at the negative or the dysfunctional side of the masculine, so this isn't functional side of the masculine. That's just being active and doing our survival work and getting things done, getting up and going to work and coming home and being a good provider. But the dysfunctional side of that yang energy is excess. So too much competition, too much stepping over people to get to where you want to go, too much of the more, the greed. I need more money, I need a better job, I need a bigger house, I need more holidays, just, this endless greed, if you like. And that has been a big part of our society for, well, probably centuries, right? And we as women need to be very aware of that and make sure that we are not living our lives as the divine feminine, because we do stand stronger in the divine feminine, and slipping into the excessive dysfunctional yang energy. All right, so that to me was the big message in this one. So the positive sides of this one is confidence, assurance, organized, and intellectual. So they're the strengths of this card, but what will pull us down and what will stop us from being confident and organized, assured, and intelligent is being too ambitious. There's also cruel and distant in there, but they didn't test up for this message. So this is greed of ambition or wanting too much. So that's a very pushing energy. Okay. I've written a little note here. If we are ambitious, if you're naturally competitive, and being competitive and being ambitious isn't negative in its own right, but it's when it's excessive. So look for your excessiveness, but also look at why are you ambitious, or what is your why? Why are you wanting to have more and do more and be more? Who are you doing that for? That's always really useful to come back to. So moving on to the third card was out of the numerology deck, and it was the word patience. So I think this is our remedy, right? So I'll go through the cards when I finish. So patience, this card was about, this card indicates a need to, got the wrong page, sorry. This card indicates a time to stop and enjoy the present moment, as nothing more can be done to achieve the outcomes that you seek. The ambition, nothing more can be done to achieve what you're seeking to achieve. Rather than take action, action is the yang, so it's saying stop, come back to your yin. You are being asked to evaluate your progress and clarify your dreams, which will help you to manifest them sooner. So this harks back a little bit to the message that was coming out the day before yesterday, which I talked about. You need to get very clear on what you're choosing, because instead of being reactive to what's turning up in your life, what you're afraid of, we need to step back, pause, be much more strategic in our thinking. What are we truly dreaming of? What are we wishing to create? So to step back and really think about that, evaluate that. What are we consciously creating? Not just in a habitual habit of, I am not good enough. We have to exercise the demons of the not good enough, so that we overdo, over ambitious, pushing. We need to stop and be patient and look at what it is that we're truly wishing to achieve and why we want to achieve that. What is the value that is behind that? I'll just read a little bit more because I really like this card. It also indicates a need to take your time and pace yourself instead of making hasty plans and decisions. Failure to do so could result in stress and disappointment. Now that really rang a chord with me as well, because when you're busy doing, you are getting stressed and you are getting caught up in, I'm not good enough again. It's like this vicious cycle. So this is an opportunity to focus all of your energy and attention on visualizing your dreams as opposed to pushing against the obstacles standing in your way. Surrender the outcome to the universe and get on with living your life. Allow things to come to fruition in the divine order. You are being asked to have the courage to be patient and be still. Stillness is the key to receiving clear and accurate guidance, and patience will help you to attract the outcome you desire. So I just thought, really nice message, really lovely cards. Be in our divine feminine, be caring and compassionate. And again, that last one was a bit about the gratitude. Instead of having greed, come into gratitude. This is all very pillar 7, which is being in the positivity. And on the soul level, we will attract more by being in the positive energy of gratitude, rather than slipping into the negative or feeling that we're not good enough and doing more, the greed. Okay, what else did I have here? So stop pushing, step back, and be quiet and clear. And then I just checked for anything else. The last thing that came up was a message from the essences of the power of flowers. And this was sagebush. Sagebush is all about clearing, cleansing, purifying, in order that we accelerate our personal evolution. So as we all work together to raise the vibration of the divine feminine, so bring more caring, more nurturing, and more compassion into our world as each individual does that. And it is the women who are good at that. I mean, there's lots of men who are good at it too, but the women get it quicker and easier than men do. We are much more orientated towards people rather than things. And it's all about eliminating the negative thought forms, purifying your thoughts, purifying your habits, and being more positive and being in more gratitude, supporting, mothering, caring, nurturing, and protecting ourselves and those around us. So, in celebration of womanhood, I hope this is encouraging, clarifying, and cleansing, and I hope it encourages you to sit in your divine feminine, knowing that you are enough. All right, that's it for today. God bless, take care, and I will see you again soon. Any questions, you want more clarity on anything, if there's anything else you want me to test on, please just put it in the comments, let me know. Do share, do like, so that we get a little momentum going on these guidance sessions. God bless. Bye.